Hello everyone and welcome to this week's book release roundup. You guys want to see some books, maybe? Scientists agree that a pathogen is likely to cause a global pandemic in the near future. But which one? And how? Over the past 50 years, more than 300 infectious diseases have either newly emerged or re-emerged, appearing in territories where they've never been seen before. 90% of epidemiologists expect that one of them will cause a deadly pandemic sometime in the next 2 generations. It could be Ebola, avian flu, a drug-resistant superbug, or something completely new. While we can't know which pathogen will cause the next pandemic, by unraveling the story of how pathogens have caused pandemics in the past, we can make predictions about the future. Alright, yay! So this is a happy book, apparently. It feels somewhat timely with the Ebola outbreak that's happened in Africa, and now, just within the past couple weeks, I've been hearing about the Zika virus. A book like this, I think, treads a fine line for me. The line is between about being informative about those kind of things, while at the same time not being exploitative or fear-mongering, or should I say, hopefully this book doesn't Fox News it. This book seems super informative, maybe a little bit sad, but check it out. Nix's life began in Honolulu in 1868. Since then, she has traveled to mythic Scandinavia, a land from the 1001 Nights, modern-day New York City, and many more places both real and imagined. As long as he has a map, Nix's father can sail his ship, the Temptation, to any place, any time. But now he's uncovered the one map he's always sought. 1868 Honolulu, before Nix's mother died in childbirth. Nix's life, her entire existence, is at stake. No one knows what will happen if her father changes the past. It could erase Nix's future, her dreams, her adventures, her connection with the charming Persian thief Cash, who's been part of their crew for 2 years. If Nix helps her father reunite with the love of his life, it will cost her her own. I was confused for a second because I thought maybe this sentence right here, as long as he has a map, Nix's father can sail his ship. They kind of made it sound like Nix was a guy, and as long as Nix had the map, his father could sail his ship. So when it suddenly switched into being a girl, I was a little confused. So, whatever with the copy. This seems really cool. I always like time travel stories. I don't think there's enough of them. I think that they're hard to do. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They're not hard to do. They're hard to do right. What I like so far about just what I've read is that this uses the backdrop of time travel to tell a very personal story. It seems like it's about this girl and her father who are struggling with their lives, their relationships, and her father has a time machine and he's trying to always go back to this one point. So it looks really interesting. I'm probably going to check this one out. Ghost of Tristan Bay is a novella in a series called the Powder Mage series. I've heard nothing but good things about the Powder Mage books. So just like always, I'm not going to read you the copy on this book. I'm going to go back and tell you about the first book in the series, Promise of Blood. It's a bloody business overthrowing a king. Field Marshal Thomas's coup against his king sent corrupt aristocrats to the guillotine and brought bread to the starving. But it also provoked war with the Nine Nations, internal attacks by royalist fanatics, and the greedy to scramble for money and power by Thomas's supposed allies, the church, workers' unions, and mercenary forces. Stretched to his limit, Thomas is relying heavily on his few remaining powder mages, including the embittered Taniel, a brilliant marksman who also happens to be his estranged son, and Adamat, a retired police inspector whose loyalty is being tested by blackmail. Now as attackers batter them from within and without, the credulous are whispering about omens of death and destruction. Just old peasant legends about the gods waking to walk the earth. No modern, educated man believes that sort of thing. But they should. So that sounds super cool. It seems kind of like a world that's like turn of the 18th century England with mages and court intrigues and all kinds of stuff. And like I've said, I've heard nothing but good things about this book and the books in the series. Buy it. Buy the novella too. Lorelei Diedrich, Crown Princess and fugitive at large, has one mission: kill the wicked queen who took both the Ravenspire throne and the life of her father. To do that, Lorelei needs to use the one weapon she and Queen Irina have in common: magic. She'll have to be stronger, faster, and more powerful than Irina, the most dangerous sorceress Ravenspire has ever seen. In the neighboring kingdom of Elder, where Prince Cole's father and older brother are killed by an invading army of magic-wielding ogres, the second-born prince is suddenly given the responsibility of saving his kingdom. To do that, Cole needs magic of his own, and the only way to get it is to make a deal with the Queen of Ravenspire, promise to become her personal huntsman, and bring her Lorelei's heart. But Lorelei is nothing like Cole expected: beautiful, fierce, and unstoppable, and despite dark magic, Lorelei is drawn in by the passionate and troubled king. Isn't he just a prince? Fighting to stay one step ahead of the dragon huntsman, who she likes far more than she should. Lorelei does everything in her power to ruin the wicked queen. But Irina isn't going down without a fight, and her final move may cost the princess the one thing she has left to lose. So in the copy that I didn't read, it says that this is a dark epic fantasy inspired by the tale of Snow White, which makes sense. This seems Grimm Brothers Disney kind of fairy. It feels like a classic fairy tale. The book cover is an interesting book cover. While not necessarily Snow White, but like Sleeping Beauty and the apple and that whole jazz. That it has that kind of feel to it, and just the way it's put together makes you think, ooh, there might be some trouble. Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. Ooh, I was starting to read that as George Takei. Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner first crossed paths as actors on the set of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Little did they know that their next roles in a new science fiction television series would shape their lives in ways no one could have anticipated. In 79 television episodes and 6 feature films, they grew to know each other more than most friends could ever imagine. Over the course of half a century, Shatner and Nimoy saw each other through personal and professional highs and lows. In this powerfully emotional book, Shatner tells the story of a man who was his friend for 5 decades, recounting anecdotes and untold stories of their lives on and off the set, as well as gathering stories for others who knew Nimoy well to present a full picture and a rich life. Oh my. That was probably a really bad George Takei, but I don't feel like going back and saying all of that. So that's what you get. So this seems like a weird book, just from the sense of, did William Shatner really have to be the one to put this book out? I seem to remember most of the people in the cast of Star Trek not really enjoying William Shatner as a person all that much. Now, I might be remembering things wrong, and I might be skewing them because I'm a big fan of George Takei, who has had some notable issues with William Shatner. Like, you look at the cover, and William Shatner's name is huge. Couldn't you have made Leonard a huge font? It's about Leonard Nimoy. Like, make his name fucking huge. This just seems kind of weird. If I knew, I would probably buy this book if I knew that this money was going to like a charity that Leonard Nimoy supported and nobody was making a ton of money off of this thing. But until I kind of know that, I probably won't buy it. I'll probably just go back and watch Star Trek 4 because that's probably my favorite Star Trek movie ever. I love the whales. And if you haven't seen it, I do suggest watching it. It is amazing. All right, we have another sequel in this this week's release. This book is book 3 in a series called The Reckoners. Now, book 1, this is almost a first, I think, for this release party. I can show you book 1 right here. So Steelheart is the first book in the Reckoner series. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I actually have I probably have like 3 Sanderson books laying around my place that I haven't dug into yet because mountain of books. So this one, I'm actually going to get to read off of the inside flap, so it's exciting. 10 years ago, Calamity came. It was a burst in the sky that gave ordinary people extraordinary powers. The awed public started calling them epics. Epics are no friends of man. With incredible gifts came the desire to rule. And to rule man, you must crush his will. Now in what was once Chicago, an astonishingly powerful epic named Steelheart has installed himself as emperor. Steelheart possesses the strength of 10 men and can control the elements. It is said that no bullet can harm him, no sword can split his skin, and no fire can burn him. He is invincible. Nobody fights back. Nobody but the Reckoners. A shadowy group of ordinary humans, the Reckoners spend their lives studying epics, finding their weaknesses, and then assassinating them. And David wants in. When Steelheart came to Chicago, he killed David's father. For years, like the Reckoners, David has been studying and planning, and he has something they need. Not an object, but an experience. He has seen Steelheart bleed, and he wants revenge. Damn, doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound like a good fucking book? That sounds like it's really good, and I don't know why I haven't tried reading it sooner. Because now I want to stop whatever it is I'm reading and start reading that book. So Steelheart looks like it's going to be a really awesome book. I would say by extension then Calamity is going to be a great book too. So pick that up. So this one barely has any copy at all. Listen to this. Fox Mulder and Dana Scully are back in a chilling collection of all new tales of dark secrets, alien agendas, terrifying monsters, and murderous madmen, featuring original stories by best-selling authors Rachel Kane, Hank Philippi Ryan, Kelly Armstrong, Cami Garcia, Greg Cox, and many others. Edited by New York Times bestseller Jonathan Mayberry. There's not much to say. It's the X-Files. The cover looks like it's 1990s. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson instead of like right now, them. So I don't know. Seems like a book about X-Files stories. Maybe there's some new ones. Maybe this time they'll find some aliens. I don't know. Do you know? So that's all the books for this week. Some pretty interesting picks. Some stuff that I'm going to be adding to my Amazon wish list to keep track of for when I have more money and more time to read them. So check out some of the other things that I've been working on. Links will be all over the place. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just going to be weirdly dancing right here with my hands. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.